It's an Artistry Collective Wednesday. And that just means that we are here and ready to have fun and hang out in part of the Artistry Collective Live Craft Wednesdays. And they are brought to you by Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage. And myself and Leah from Make All the Things With Me are a part of the collective. We're here almost every Wednesday. Hello, there's Leah. You must have known I was talking about you, my friend. Yay. Okay, so today I have like this messy pile. I don't know what happens when you paper craft, but you just start getting out the things that you want, and before you know it, you have this huge heap of a mess. And that's what I have right now. Under here is an altered book, and this is one that I was working on at the end of last summer. So I figured maybe I better work on it before the start of this summer, right? It is almost done. I'm going to show it to you here, and then we're going to add some things. I've gone through and just added some cardstock that I cut into pieces to make some tags and journaling cards, and kind of just fill in some of the last few things that this needs. Oh my goodness, I have this huge craft-a-lanche about to happen. Whew. Okay, let's see where we are. I tossed out some lace. I was like, yep, I need lace, I need tags, I need journaling cards. And I grabbed the folder that has all the extra bits. This kit was in part of the JJJ Out With a Bang. And it was hosted by Mandy from Sunflowers Indoors and Julie from Julie's Papercraft. So it's really great if you have papers from a certain collection or whatever. She put her name at the bottom of these, which really helped me out a lot. But sometimes the designers don't do that. So it's really great if you just save a cover page or something so you know where they came from. And okay, let's just pull this aside. It's really not that messy. It's just kind of a stack of a lot of things that are ready to go in the journal. This is the poppies, and I loved these flowers. Perfect for spring inspiration. This is my cover. It is an altered Reader's Digest. Let's see if it has the year on there still. No, they didn't print it on the side. For a while, they were printing them on the spine, but they didn't do that. And I don't think I saved that page. But it is vintage. Nevertheless, I've got some fun things in here. Again, hitch post closure. I did cover the beautiful decoration. I think this one might have just been a solid too. I don't know. But I do love this paper that is from the collection. Lots and lots of beautiful poppies. How's everybody doing today? I hope everyone is good. It is a nice sunny day here. It's not like super bright outside, but it definitely could be worse. I have my little mini Starbucks Frappuccino. Isn't that cute? Okay. These poppies go perfect with the saltwater taffy and frayed burlap distress oxides. I found this paper. This is just some cardstock that I had. I think it was supposed to be cards because it did have a perforation down the center. So I just cut some of those down so they would fit in pockets. It's a beautiful day in New York. That's great. No more of that snow stuff. I do have some fun acetate on here in this little window so you can kind of see the flowers peeking through. I thought that was kind of a fun little addition. Now, this one is considered an altered book because I didn't gut it. So I left most of the pages in there. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Chris. And I tore a bunch out. Now, some people have a formula for this, and I do have some YouTube videos on this. So if you're interested in that, you can definitely check that out. Here is another little thing. So these are just blank cardstock, and I just went and put them in there. And I like to go through and try to remember to do something to them. So I'm at this stage where I need to put trims, I need to fill pockets, I need to make my little additions. I did a lot of Nuvo in this book, so you can see on all the poppies. Oh, it's a beautiful day in Australia. That's great. Are you guys getting ready for what? Fall? What's it going to be over there, Chris? Okay. You got a Reader's Digest from Goodwill. Yes. Ask around. Sometimes people have these just sitting there and they like to get rid of them. So you wouldn't believe some of the covers are really beautiful, but I do love Reader's Digest. I have some mass make series here on my YouTube channel that I go over how to take the book blocks out and how to work in kind of a mass make function if you want to make several of them at one time. But you don't have to. You can just do it for one book or whatever. So I did put some your fun pockets in here, and a lot of these little pieces of ephemera and things from the kit have these little tabs on them, and I love that. It's so much fun. Okay, so this one is just a pocket. So I folded a page down and made it a pocket with another page, and some of the pages I've left in here so I can put some solid pages or make some other pockets. Then like this one here, I folded down and made this a pocket. And as you flip through, you have to take some pages out because you're putting papers back in when you're gluing down your decorative papers. Look at this. Isn't this wonderful with all of the books? Oh, it just makes my heart so happy. And we have our Nouveau on the center of those flowers. I just love that. Hi, Blissful Crafts and Designs by Debbie Lee. Hello and welcome. Winter starts in June there, Chris. Oh, it's so weird to think of it a little bit backwards. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I do a lot of paper crafting, mixed media art, junk journals, all the things. A lot of times I do it while I drink coffee. So there's the Frapps part of my scraps. This is a fun bag. I'm not so sure I'm digging this rickrack here anymore. I may wind up taking that off and putting just some lace or something. I don't know. I made this one into a shaker, and it still functions as a pocket. So I did put a piece of that cardstock in there. Now you can see I've got a bunch of paper clips, and that's because I paper clipped my pages together to know that these can be pockets. Or whatever I want to do to them, whether I want to fold them down or make them another kind of a pocket or whatever way. This one I cut a hole out of because this was actually the illustration in the book, and I thought it just went wonderfully. I want to put a piece of that acetate from Tim Holtz that has the cracked window just because I think it'll be fun. You rang the bell. Thank you so much. I would love it if you're new here, if you would subscribe, hit the thumbs up, like, and do all the things. If you're a paper crafter, you'll definitely have some fun here. I go live almost every Wednesday with this lovely group we call the Artistry Collective. You love the color choices. You have a video on how to do an altered book. I certainly do. Yeah. If you go to my Mass Make series for Reader's Digest, I have a whole series where I was working on 15 of these. But that is actually where I was gutting them and sewing in the signatures and all the things. This one is just simply an altered book. So you take some pages out and you put some pages in, and it turns out so beautifully. And then I've put these pages together so I can have some top loading pockets. Let's look up here. And I put my little divots in, but I don't have anything in the pockets yet. So that is where I cut these. I think it used to be some cards. I don't know. It was just in my stash of cardstock. So I want to make those into some cards. And I'd like to get this book finished. They actually take a lot longer than you might think. Covering the pages and making all the pockets can be kind of tedious. So you have to just kind of stick with it, work with it a little bit at a time, and know that it will be very lovely in the end. Sometimes I get tired and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got too many pages or too many pockets, and I'll just start tearing them out at the end. So leave yourself some extra room to do that. And it's okay if you do that. This is just a little waterfall going this way with some postcards. There was actually 2 kits for the poppies from Mandy's. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today, you guys. Mandy from Sunflowers Indoors. These are her kits, and one is kind of a grungy kit and one is not, but I kind of combined them because I really like both of them. Hi, Cheryl. Okay, so I have some pockets here with some tags. And see, I thought this peachy color is kind of perfect to go with the poppies that we have. So I think I might just stick a little longer tag in there just so it kind of stands out a little bit. This really blends in. And again, there's that rickrack, and I'm just not loving it. I normally love rickrack, but I think I need a lace or something in here. Okay, so this is kind of a double page spread here. And again, there is one of those top loading pockets up there. So I want to put some of these bigger cards in here. Now, if you've never worked with a Reader's Digest book before, they are a wonderful size to work with. You can make some bigger tags, like these ones are going to be bigger tags to go in up here. And then you can make some smaller tags and put them in here. You can make all kinds of fun pockets and little flip flaps. And working with the book page that's in there, it just gives it this wonderful feel. If you've never done it before, it's absolutely, if you're a tactile person, it's absolutely wonderful. The glue just kind of melts in there. I do have some packing paper that I used in the background on some of these pages, and you will need a lot of pages, a lot of papers to cover all of the pages, depending on how many you start with and how many you take out. So it does take more than you think. And like I said, sometimes at the end, okay, I've got enough, and I just start taking them out. I'm like, I don't need this many. Do I really want to work with this many? And you kind of need to keep an eye out on the girth of your book as you're going along. This is another tag there. I can cut that down because they do start to fill back up as you start putting ephemera and extra papers and things in there. So I kind of work from the back and from the middle. This had over 400 pages. This is page 437, and we're still going. So this was a relatively big book. And I know I had to take a lot of pages out in order to be able to put all these other pages back in. And I know it seems funny, like you're taking pages out to put pages in, but you're taking pages out to make room for your printables or your decorative papers and your pockets. And then all of your ephemera. Now, what do you do with these books? You can turn it into a writing journal. All of this blank area you can write on. You can see, I put this packaging paper, and it just kind of reminds me here of the backgrounds of some of these beautiful papers. You can turn it into kind of like a little scrapbook where you put pictures or thoughts or whatever it is that you want to do. They are good to go for anything. Hey, there's the Farmhouse Stencil Shop. Hello, friend. Okay, so this one I do need to trim down just a little bit, and it's going to be a side loading pocket here. So you can make these side loading, the top loading, you can make the folding ones, you can make like tucks. This is a fun way to explore all of the hundreds of ways you can make pockets in these journals. And some people make wonderful ephemera holders out of them. Other people just make beautiful journals out of them. I kind of like mine to be a little mix of both. They can be a writing journal or a place where you put thoughts and things like that, or where you can put pictures too. You can really use it for whatever it is that you need a journal for. Now, this peachy color, I'm not going to keep it quite like that. I'm probably going to go and douse them all with some ink here eventually. But I just wanted to put some things in the pockets so I don't forget to do that. Hi, Christy. There's Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage. She is the one who brings this collective of myself, Leah, and her all together. And together we get live on Wednesdays, and we just have a great time. So after me will be Leah from Make All the Things With Me, and then it will be Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage. And we do this every Wednesday just to make sure we can craft and have a great time. Now, this is the book's, almost the book's end page. It was down here, so I did leave that. I love leaving some of the fun things from the book. And that is my little embossed punch that says that it was made by Frapps Scraps. And then I did cover, sometimes I don't cover the backs of the books. Sometimes I just leave them because most of the time they do have a beautiful print. You can see this one did, and I covered it though. But I do like that you can kind of see it from the side profile. And now you can see where I've put all of these fun pieces of cardstock. So what we need to do now is go through and decide what I'm doing with these pieces of cardstock. Am I putting tabs on them? Am I inking them? What are we doing? And just making sure that we have enough. And, here's also a place or a time when you can add trims, you can add spray, you can do all of the things. And now the Nouveau work that I do that in stages. So when I'm just about done with the book for the evening, I'll find a page that I haven't Nouveau'd, and I will put that, like this one, I'll put that where I want it and then leave it open so that it can dry. And it takes a lot of time and drying time, but it's definitely worth it. I love it. Okay, I had some tabs and all kinds of things. Here is where you kind of need some space, and I always work myself into this little hole. It was funny, I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and the person said, no matter how much space I start with, I always wind up with like a 12 by 12 little area to work in. I'm like, yes, that's me entirely. Okay, I want to work on some tabs. I also thought I might want to put a book plate into the cover, and I want to see what I did here. So I was thinking I might put a book plate like right down here that says poppies. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to puncture the cover. So I will have to like put a pocket or a piece of lace or something on the inside because I've already covered it up. And that's okay. There is a little piece of text here somewhere. Let's flip through. That says poppies. There's some fun. These are, I think they're just supposed to be like little faux washi tapes or belly bands or whatever you want to use them for. So many fun pieces of ephemera in this kit. I've cut most of them out. There are also some pockets in the kit too, so you can use those pockets or you can create your own pockets in the book. I love doing altered books. Like I said, they take a lot longer than you might expect because you think, okay, I'm just gluing paper to this book and I just have to cover the pages that are there. And in doing that, you'll get started and you'll be like, whoa, this is taking a while. Okay. There it is. There it is. Where did there's a little word that says poppies. And I had a little book plate. There it is. All right. So we're going to put that in first. So what I'm thinking is this little book plate here will go like this. Now, when you use a book plate, there is a top and a bottom usually. This one is just kind of, I think it's the same. So, because sometimes they're open on the top so you can slide in a word if you want to. And this one doesn't look like it has that. So I'm just going to trim around this word and we'll see if we can't glue it in a little bit first before we put some brads in and get this going. Now, you don't have to puncture your cover. You could just put the brads in and then glue this on. But I like to have it nice and secure, especially where it's going to be on the cover. And I will just puncture the cover and put it through. Now, some people don't like this idea because they say that it's ruining books. And please don't bash me for that. I don't want to see any comments about that because these books, a lot of times these Reader's Digest books are being discarded. So many books hit the landfills every year. And I feel like I give them new life. And sometimes I even read the stories before I take the pages out. But a lot of times the pages are coming apart. The blocks aren't secure in there anymore. And they're just vintage and fun. And I think they're beautiful. And this is such a fun way to repurpose them and just make something new again. Okay, so I need to trim this down. Oh, there's something fun. Leah from Make All the Things With Me always sends me fun things. She sent me a 10th super on a let's celebrate their 10th super on a live stream. Wow, that's the 10th one I've received. I didn't even know we could do that. It's kind of like TikTok. TikTok does all these little send you things and whatever. That's so fun. So thank you so much. Yeah, that's right, Carol. We saved the books from the landfill rather than have them be discarded and sitting somewhere, just degrading. We can use them again. Okay, so let's see how this is fitting on the back. Okay, that's perfect. So what I need to do now is I'm going to put just a little bit of glue around in here onto the metal. So this is going to be metal gluing onto the paper. Oops. And I want to get that word in there so that it's situated. We can see the word, the poppies. It just says poppies. So, I mean, this could be a book you could, if you are somebody who grows flowers or likes to collect flowers, you could put your collections or your thoughts about some of the gardens that you've seen or pictures of beautiful flowers that you grow or that somebody else grows or that you just admire, any of the things. The book literally can be whatever you want it to be. Okay, and I want it to go. I'm going to put some glue back here. Now, some people don't glue down on their metal around where they're putting the book plate in. I do sometimes if I remember, but I feel like putting brads in there usually keeps it pretty secure. But a little extra glue never hurt, right? Okay. Now, like I said, this one isn't going to be one that you can change the title. I suppose you could glue a label over if you just didn't want it to say Poppies anymore, but I think it's beautiful. And I'm going to use my pokey tool. A lot of times when I'm doing brads, I'll just use a pokey tool to get it, to put the holes in. So I'm going to put my thumb on here so it doesn't move all around. This is my tool from Spellbinders. It's called the Tool-in-One. This is in my, my Amazon store. If you are looking for one, they come in very, very handy. It's very sharp and it will puncture through this hard chipboard that is this cover here. Let's see, how's it going? Is it all the way through? That is quite a ways down there. And maybe if I don't puncture through this, there we go. Okay, so that's there. And then I need to do this one. I want to put the brad in before I move to the second one, just because I feel like it'll hold it a little more securely while I'm trying to put that other one on there. So let me grab that. Now, I'm a person who loves to put metals in my books. I know back in the day of scrapbooking, there was quite the controversy over what's archival, what's photo safe, is it acid and linen free, all these things. And it really kind of limited the things that you could put into your books. And I didn't like that part of scrapbooking. Sorry, guys, I got to fix something here. My little stack of stuff is tipping over. I grabbed something out of the order, and it's tipping the tea cart here. Okay, there we go. Now I can put this back. What I suggest, if you are putting photos in here and you care about the acid and all that, acid and linen and all the things, if you're going to put photos in and you really want to preserve them for the longest amount of time, you can put them in a photo sleeve, and that will protect your photos no matter what you have going on in your books. A lot of times though, I don't worry about it. I figure if it lasts at least 100 years, heck, I will have passed something down to my family. Obviously, if it can last longer than that, wonderful. But, I would say 100 years is a long time. Okay. Now, I'm not left-handed, and my strength is not in my left hand, so I may have to spin this around. Just trying to get that in there. I think I got to poke the hole through just a little bit more. I think it's shifted just a little bit. It did. Oh, thank you, Sharon. There's Sharon. Sharon from Craft With Me, Sharon B. I think Sharon is just on Facebook. I don't think she has a YouTube yet. Okay, there we go. Now I'm all the way through. Now that brad should just slide right in there. Now, I can't really, I feel funny taking credit for making this book. Of course, I've made it, but what makes it so beautiful is all of these beautiful images. And if you start with beautiful things, you're going to make something beautiful. So, if you're afraid, or intimidated or whatever by some of these books that you see out there, literally just start looking at them and going, how would I make that? Just like you would with any other, how we see something and go, I can make that. That's like the typical crafter phrase. It's just layers of paper, usually papers or fabrics, or, if they do mixed media like I do, it'll be some metals, maybe some fabrics, some linen, all the things. Okay, now we need another brad, and we need to puncture another hole. Did I already take a brad out? No. All right. Eyes keep playing tricks on me today. I've developed this crazy floater in my right eye, so I think I need to go to the eye doctor and see what I can do about that, because it's really hindering what vision I normally have to rely on. All right, so we're going to go a hole here, and we're going to poke. And when you're using this big pokey tool, you can be, use your might, but you don't want to break the book itself either. So just be kind of Strong but gentle, if that makes sense. Like work slowly if that's what you need to do. There we go. I got it in there. And see, now we just have these little tiny brad tabs that we're going to have to cover on the back here. But that's okay because we could literally just put a strip of paper or a strip of lace or something over these. And that's going to extra strength hold in our little book plate. And I love that. All right. Your floater is still floating around. They're so annoying, Leah. Oh my goodness. Hi, Pina. I am doing good. How are you? Hi, Lori. Hello to anyone that I've missed. I am so excited that you're here. And if you wouldn't mind tapping your screen, looking at the little dots and hitting the thumbs up and following if you haven't already. See this? This is just a piece of fabric here. It was actually a scarf. And I just kind of glued it in here because I knew I would want it to be in here, but then I kind of left it flowy. So that way I can slide things under it. And then when I'm all done, I can secure it down and see right here, it would completely hide that little brad tab. I still have one other one, but that's okay. I can figure out something to go there. Not too worried about it. And then there's a couple of other things, these little, like just little things. And so many fun. I haven't used many of these tabs or anything yet, but I'm excited too. There's another one that says poppies, so that's great. Doing some of the fun layering. And now a lot of times when I work in these, I'll do a little bit of work in the front, and then I'll flip and try to do a little bit of work in the back. And the reason I do that, it's not so important with a digital because you can always print more paper. But if you're working with a paper pad, like a designer paper pad or something, you might run out of pages because this takes so much paper to do. Oh, I don't know if I like that one because that one has like the crease. So if you're flipping from like back to front, and then a little bit in the middle, it will help spread that paper out. And then if you need to add something later, you can just go through and it won't look like, oh, she ran out of designer paper here and now she's putting in this peach. How is that working out? I did decorate some of the tags already. Look at these. I didn't really have to do much. I just did some Nuvo on there. I did a little bit of my lace trim and put a brad, and then I hid the brad tabs underneath this lace in the back. So you put the brad in with your lace on the front, and you don't secure the lace on the back until you've actually put your brad in. And you can keep it just simple like this, or you can go add a cluster here. You can add extra things. You can do any of the things in these journals, these altered books, and I love it. See, this one I just took the paper here and I wrapped it around the page so it actually covered the edge as well, and I love that look too. I haven't added any real trims yet. See, this was just a piece of, did I cover this? Yes, I did. So this was just a piece of white paper that I put here, and then I put a trim, and then you can leave this for a large photo or journaling. And then we have this little flip, which I love, with the ripped paper down here in the background. And you can decorate the tops of these as well. You could put photos up here, and then journal on this side. Or you can put, little notes or whatever it is that you like to do. Okay, so I want to add some trims. I don't have any trims yet. A lot of times I'll wait to add the trims until I have more of the pages done because I just don't know what's going to be happening with some of the pages. This one I just went in and did some inking here, so it's got kind of a base if I want to do some other fun things. I loved how some of these were really dark and kind of grungy too. This was the dark, like grunge kit. These were just some pieces of ephemera from the kit. So I just put them on a dark cardstock, and you can journal on the backs of these. Even though it's dark, you could use like a white paint pen or a metallic pen or a chalk pen, any of those things. And I thought it was just fun that they slip right in here. I made a little slit around these books so that they could just slide in there and be a note. This one, I just left it because I thought it was beautiful, but it does have a really large tag inside the pocket at the top there. So it's still functional. Okay, so typically when I have these ones like this, this meant that I wanted to glue these sides together here and make it a side pocket. But I think this one, I might tear this out because I've got a lot of pages going on in here. So I'm just going to tear it out. Now, another secret about doing altered books too is that when you tear something out like this, you can kind of see the edge that it leaves. And you can really try and work hard and get that out if you want, or you can just kind of cover it because this page can glue to this page and it hides that, that tearing. So I think what I might do on this one is I'm going to tear out this page also. Oh, I already glued it together. Okay, well, we can fold this down and that can be a side tuck and then this will be a tuck and it will hide that. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to fold this here. But I will need to, I don't think I have any more of the beautiful papers printed that are just backings. I think what I have left is mostly all of this fun ephemera. So let me see, do I have any other pages? And there was all kinds of fun envelopes. Of course, you can still do like flip flaps and things in here. I don't know why it says Santa or Angel in here because this is definitely not a Christmassy kit, but I suppose it could be. You could use these flowers with that, with Santa if you really wanted to. I think what I might do is I might use this instead of using it as a tuck or an envelope. I think I might just glue it onto this little tab here. We'll see how it works. And what I also liked about these, she left it really easy to cut things out, which is great. So just a lot of straight lines. There were a bunch of some circles too, so you can have some circle pieces in your pages. I always forget to use circles. I don't know what it is. I guess just because I'm used to, you know, doing everything. Oh, look at this. It's kind of a fun scallop. Just used to doing everything very linear, and then adding a circle in there sometimes kind of throws me off a little bit. Okay, and I see I'm already getting a white edge. I'm not going to worry about that too much because we can easily add some ink. Okay, so just one of these pockets, and this will work great on something on the right side. So I can put this here and wrap it around. Now I have to decide if I want to, this one, I can't really see the line too much, but you can really see it up here. I think I might still just leave it though, because I kind of need the full length for it to make the whole piece here. I could just glue it like this. Let's cut this piece off. Actually, we could wrap it around. Let's do that. Very indecisive today. I think my brain is still trying to wake up from some of the meds that I have to take. Okay, so let's figure out how wide we need this. And then I want that to wrap around right there. I don't really measure too much. This actually doesn't. Does it need to be a tuck? I don't know. It can be a little tuck back there. It can be kind of a little hidden tuck back here. It could also be a flap, so we could open this. If we wanted to leave it like this, we could have another little flap. So many fun things you can do. All right, let's see if that fold now helps this too. No, it's still not wide enough. Okay, I think I kind of want it to be the full length of that, and then just have like this little piece tuck back here. Okay, and maybe I'll just make it to where it lays like this, but it can open like this since we have this scallop. And let's get rid of those white. That's green. Do I want to ink with green? I don't know. Don't think I do. This one's blue, this one's green. What have I been up to lately? Where are my normal colors? This one will work. This is a chalk ink. It's Versa Magic, the Dewdrops. I love it, actually. It covers very nicely. Let's see. And it can just get rid of all those little white edges from cutting. And also to make a nice dark contrasting line there. All right, goodbye to those white lines. And then we can also put a little bit of ink along here because I saw where those little tabs are going to be. It's going to be kind of showing the edge of this book page a little bit. So let's put some ink in there. Okay. And we'll glue it down. So I'm going to put glue. I want to put glue on this tab back here. Ugh, this glue is giving me so much trouble. I have, I dropped my pin that goes in it. So I found another pin. I'm just having glue pin problems. Now we're working. All right, good. All right. I love when the kit gives you a variety of things to choose from, and there are so many pieces of fun ephemera within this kit, so it makes it really great for making all kinds of different pockets and pages and pieces of ephemera. It's just so, so great. I love it. Okay. So it gives you, a chance to use some different shapes that maybe you haven't used before, and things like that. Now this one, I wonder if I could put this one here and just make it like be a back. So then it would cover here, but I kind of need to cover all of it, so that maybe won't work either. All right, I'm going to cut this one down so that it matches. This was actually intended to be a little pocket, and I didn't do it that way. So you definitely don't have to do them the way that they are designed. You can just use it for the designer paper, and just enjoying the other elements. Like a lot of times I'll take pockets and turn them into tags or pieces of paper and whatnot. Do I want to cut that the rest of them? No, I'm just going to leave that. Okay, there we go. So now that will be there. And then I want to do something over here. Let's put some ink on this page and see how that works. Scorched timber. That one is my frayed burlap, I think, all the way in the bottom. Yeah. Okay. So ink will save the day and get you out of most jams that you might find yourself in. And sometimes it'll help to create other creative nonsense just by maybe you get an ink blob or something spills, and you can just simply fix it with some ink. And even in these altered books where the pages are in there, you can still use water, like I just did here. So my ink is wet, and that's okay. You will, of course, want to dry it. You don't want to leave it like this, but you can use liquid ink in here is what I'm getting at. Okay, let's do some of this spray. I got out the saltwater taffy spray stain, and I just want to do a little spritz in here. I think that will add some fun color to the mix here. Where'd my comments go? There we go. You're loving this idea. Good. I'm so glad. You can do this with any book. Maybe even a book from the dollar store if you don't have any that you can salvage. Sometimes you can get them in free boxes at the garage sales, or just a book that you might have lying around. So many ways to acquire books and save them from, you know, just wherever they may end up. Now remember, if you spray on one page, this is actually two because it's glued together so that there is a pocket on the side here. See, we can open it and it's actually going to be a pocket in there. But if you're spraying here or putting ink, it could stain through the backside. Sometimes it can give you something really neat to look at as well. But other times it might spray where you don't want it to, so just keep that in mind. Let's find the heat tool. I'll put a little bit of heat on this. Oh, yes. Working in a thrift store would be so much fun. Oh, my goodness. 50 cents. That's great. Okay, and see how now that we've got this ink here, I don't really feel like I need to put more paper on here. I can just glue this and create a pocket. So this is going to be a pocket as well. And we won't see this little flap of paper that I glued on here, and we won't see any of this either. So that will now serve to just kind of hide some of that construction. And I think I might just put a little paper clip here to hold it together while it's drying. Okay, and then I need to remember to put a card in there as well. Let's see, this one gonna need to trim down just a little bit. Trim about 1.5 inches off, just because, and then it should fit into that pocket here. And then with the card being this bright color, I can kind of see it a little better as well. That'll be perfect. And we can put a tab there. We can put some trim here. Let's do that. I can turn on the Ryobi, so hopefully it will cooperate here. Get some nice trim in here. Now you can use any kind of lace that you have, vintage lace, just lace you've purchased, lace from clothing that maybe you've got a beautiful sweater that you like and maybe it gets a stain or it doesn't fit anymore or it has a hole. You can salvage some of the fabric or the lace from that type of a thing as well. When I get together with my friends in North Carolina, we actually took apart a couple of wedding dresses, and oh my gosh, the yield was amazing. We had appliques and lace galore. Now, I don't recommend gutting a wedding dress that's, you want to pass down or that's been passed down. You can always put them in a beautiful shadow box or something as well. I saw one lady, she used just some of the trims and appliques from her dress and made a beautiful shadow box with photos and everything, and it was absolutely wonderful. But you still had to cut it to do that. So don't be afraid to try cutting things, but at the same time, I also get preserving them. So don't, cut up something that has some sentimental value or that you'll be sad later that you did it. Most of the time, you can get so much from a wedding dress. You can get them from thrift stores. Yeah, for I've seen them for like $10 or $20 and at thrift stores. And sometimes if they have a tag sale, you can get them even cheaper than that. And you get so much fabric and lace from them. Where I live here, we are able to get sari dresses. And that provides so much sari silk and things like that. Okay, so you want to make sure everything still closes, even though you put some things there. All right, and I don't put lace on every page, but I do like to, you know, kind of spread it out and put them in the places that it would probably look good. I think this one would be good with one here. I think this lace might have been some vintage lace because it's on a vintage card, although it doesn't feel very vintage. I don't know. It's just pretty. I'm going to put some back here, I think. And I feel like once you get to this point and you can start adding some of the fun things, it takes away, you know, some of the like, oh, I don't even want to work on it because there's so many pages to cover. And it kind of gets like that. Although this project, I don't know that I felt that way. I was excited to just get more and more pages covered because it was just so beautiful. I really loved working with the poppies and the grunge and all the things. So that's how you know you've got a really good craft, is when you're excited to keep working on it. Of course, I say that, and it's sat here, not finished, but I just didn't have time to get back to it. So I'm glad I am working on it now. And it's fun to see it come to a more finished state. Okay. And I use hot glue to put most of my trims on. You can use whatever, Fabri-Tac, Fabri-Fix, sewing, whatever. It is sometimes hard to sew in some of these books, but it can still be done. The altered pages, you can still kind of hold your book underneath and go with your sewing machine, or you can even do some hand stitching. That would be lovely. All right, this page over here needs a little tag or something in there. Okay. I loved this one. This has just some PET stickers. See how it's right there? And then this is actually just a piece of acetate. So it made the window in there. And I think that's a little pocket right there. It is. So a little something will go in there. I've got so many pockets to fill, and it can sometimes take a little time to get them all going that way. So I think what I'm going to do with these is I am going to try to, let's work on 2 of them at a time. I think we got some time left. Where are we at? Yeah, I got like 13 minutes. Okay. So what I want to do on this one that's going to be a tag, I think it's wider than 3 inches, so my punch won't work. But you can like fold it like this and cut it down to a tag. Oh, this one, it has a perforation in there. That's why I don't think I'm going to wind up using this one in actuality, but we'll just, so you just kind of fold it like that, and then you can cut your corners at the same time. And then there's your tag. Or you can cut one and then hold this, but I never like to do that. It seems I just fumble it too much to hold these little triangles there. Okay, so I want to put some frayed burlap on these. Try to tone down the peach just a little bit. And then I think I'm going to spray, I think that's speckled egg. It is, yeah. Kind of bring in a little bit of the blue. Now, if you have a re-inker, you can use the re-inker instead of taking the ink from your pad to put onto the acrylic block and add some water. And the water just really serves to activate the oxide ink, the oxide in the oxide ink, and also to kind of help you spread that ink where you want it to go a little bit more. And I'm just going to kind of blot here and there. Get some extra grunginess going on, kind of try to tone down the peach just a little bit. I do love this color though. And we'll give it some little bits of some spritz. This is speckled egg. And it'll bring out some of the blues. Okay. And I want to wipe that nozzle down. And of course, we can still go over things with like a darker color. And maybe I'll just use this chalk ink here. And just go around the edges. Kind of get some contrasting color going on. And there's a lot of fun little cut apart things that you can fussy cut out. There are some larger tabs and things that you can put on the sides of pages. And with these altered books too, you can cut pages shorter and have some shorter pages, and that's kind of fun. Just toss some ink on the back here. I love these little dewdrops. They're just super easy to grab and go. You don't need a dabber. It's so nice. You can just ink on the fly. Okay, let's put some spray. This is the back side of those. So since they'll be able to be seen, we'll put something there as well. And then I have these little tabs. And now these tabs are I printed everything just on regular copy paper, and then I've glued some cardstock on the back because it's a darker color. Yes, you can print on your cardstock, but I could not print on this darker color and have everything show up as bright and nice as it is here. And I mean, you can just use the printer paper as it is sometimes, but I sometimes like to add a little strength in adding that cardstock back there. So I don't use like a super thick cardstock, just something like 60 pounds, 65 pounds, I think is what it is actually. Okay, this is kind of a small tab, but I think it's really cute. I'm gonna put some ink on it. It's got that well-tell shape. Oops, I grabbed the wrong end. Wow. There we go. Just get some ink going here. Okay. And then we could put a piece of lace trim as well on this little journaling card is what it's going to be. I need to figure out which way it goes into the book. So it's going to go in like this. I'm glad I checked. There we go. So maybe now I'll just glue a little piece of lace trim and add a little tab and leave it the rest of it alone. And when you're adding your lace trim, you can have the lace going out or you can have the lace going in towards the writing. I sometimes like to have it out because then it sticks out on the edge more. I also like to just do a little blob and get my lace situated on there first before I stress about the whole line and trying to get it straight and all the things while I'm trying to get it to glue. Also, this is hot glue. It does seep through there. I don't really have feeling in my hands anymore. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But use your little figure protectors or a silicone brush or a little spatula. There's all kinds of fun tools out there, especially little makeup tools you can use. You can also use just your little bone folders that you have as well to get them glued down. I find the silicone brushes work really great because it helps to catch all the extra glue strings, especially if you're using hot glue. But a lot of times the tool I have most available is my fingers, so I will just kind of go through like that, get it pressed down. Okay, let's get this glued here. I think that's going to be really pretty. Oh yeah, look, there's a puppy on this side. Maybe we'll want it this way. Okay, and what I'm going to do on here is I'm going to glue just the one side first. Then I'm going to put a staple, and then I'm going to seal the back side up. So it covers over the staple, just like it would if I was using a brad. You can also put an eyelet through your little journal cards. That will give you a place to hold a charm if you want to do that. But this one, I don't want it to be seen through the back. So just going to glue. And then now I'm going to add a staple. If I can find the stapler. Oh, I have my little tiny attacher up here. I moved it and I keep forgetting where it is. Okay, so just the little tiny attacher. And that just adds a tiny little staple, which I think is so cute. Some people put them on 2 in there and they kind of crisscross them. But now, so that we don't see this little part on the back, I can put some glue down and glue it. And since I've got some lace there, I'm going to add just a little blob of hot glue so it holds right away. And then when you glue that down, it seals in that little construction bit and you don't see that at all. And now we can put this right into the book. And that makes a fun little spot to put a photo or some journaling cards. You can also put some tags and things in front of it if you want to add more, but I think I love how that looks now. It kind of subdued that pink just a little bit. Okay, and I don't know why that paper clip is in there, but we don't need it anymore. Now, of course, you can make some hidden paper clips and all the things as well. I haven't done any of that in here yet either, so still lots of things that can happen with this book. Oh, that's a little bit wet, so it doesn't want to go into that deep of a pocket. I'm just going to let it be for a little bit. Oh, that was paper clipped because there's a little flip open, so that's cute. I like that, but it doesn't have to stay there. And it's so fun when you get to this stage of the book because a lot of it is starting to get covered. You can kind of see the end is near, which is great. And throughout some of it, I just kind of flip through and decide what I want to do next. If I want to add some more trim somewhere, if I want to cover another page, if I want to put some little tabs on these so we know that they flip up. Or at least maybe on this one, that could be kind of nice. Let's put a tab there. I have this one here. I think will go well. And sometimes when I'm cutting these from digital kits, I won't cut these tabs all the way out until I'm ready to use them. Because when they're on a little strip like that, it's easier to find them, at least for me anyways. Most people don't finish a journal in one sit down, so if you've put it away, you'll be able to find it the next time you go to work on your journal. And these can be kind of tedious to cut out and get them to match up. So a lot of times what I do is I just kind of do a little preliminary trim, which I will plan to hide some of that extra white with ink. And then when I fold it together, because it's, it's designed to be folded together, try to match them up and see if I've got them somewhat similar. However, it doesn't have to be perfect because the sides won't be hooked together. They're going to be separated by your paper. So as long as it looks okay on here, it will be great. And then again, like I said, ink to save the day. Remy, don't steal stuff. Sharon, she's trying to steal the little crook is here. You'll finish watching, you're going to dinner. Okay, have a good night, Cheryl. Thanks for stopping by. Cheryl has a page on Facebook too. I don't know that she has a YouTube, but she makes beautiful books. We've done a journal swap and I got one of her journals. It is so much fun to do a journal swap. I never realized how much fun it is to go through and find all the little tuck spots and pockets that somebody has created in a book, especially when you don't know where they are and you go looking for them. It's really fun. And then, you can kind of get the feeling of how did they make this? What color did they use here? What is this material? All those fun things. Okay, I'm not going to staple this one. I'm just going to use some glue because it's going right onto paper and I wanted this on the front. I love adding little tabs. Of course, you can put some, there is a little bit of room there. You could write something or like a year or you can just leave it there. It's the beautiful poppy on there. Always double check what it looks like on the back, even though you can't see that. And then I need to squeeze it so that glue stays. And And then it just adds a fun, kind of a little wonky tab there because the way I cut it out made it a little crazy, but I think it kind of goes with the torn and grungy aesthetic that I've got going here. Oop, and that is my time, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching on this Artistry Collective Wednesday and that you'll go over and check out Leah from Make All the Things With Me. She should be up now. And then Christy from Christy's Crafty Cottage will be up after her. So thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time.